what are the other conferences hoping? Or are they just reading the science and saying this is something we can deal with? How has there been such a different reading in the SEC, Big 12, and then the ACC? I mean, North Carolina sent their kids home this week. So what's up with that?
I mean, it's fascinating, and it's kind of where our country is right now. Same set of facts are viewed very differently by different people in different parts of the country for their own different purposes. And so, they want to play in the South. They want to play in the Southwest, where most of the Big 12 is, and parts of the Midwest. They want to play up the Atlantic seaboard for now. But as you said, there's issues in the ACC, and we'll see if the resolve is there. I mean, North Carolina not only suspended classes, but as you said, sent the student body home, but not the athletes. They're supposed to stay. Notre Dame suspended classes in person. Hadn't sent anybody home yet, but they stopped all campus activities. But they do expect to practice football this weekend. North Carolina State suspended in-person classes, but they're keeping right along with football. So, to me, this is kind of an indication of exactly how weak the NCAA and college institutions' position has become about. These guys are just regular students. They don't deserve any more pay. They don't deserve any compensation. Now, they're very clearly being kept on campus for one reason. They need football.
No, and Pat, I had Dr. Brian Hainline, the chief medical officer of the NCAA, on the program on Monday, and he reiterated what he told to CNN over the weekend, which is the testing in this country is such a disaster that you can't have sports. You certainly can't have sports for all fall programs. You can't do it properly, and that's the reason why they canceled all college championships for the fall, which he said is the only thing that they truly can control. And I pointed out that in the same way that he, was pointing out the lack of a national strategy as a U.S. government has created the situation of testing that does not allow for sports, that what about the fact that there clearly is no national strategy here from the NCAA level and allowing all the conferences to do what they want to do locally? Isn't that the same thing that our federal government has done on testing? And his answer was, but that's a fair question. And he pointed out that the science that they've put out there is on their website for everyone to see, and that they cannot control what the conferences do. They can only control the conference championship, a national championship, and that there won't really be one. And then we're starting to hear about the CFB being able to do whatever they want to do anyway. Right, Pat? I mean, that's the way it currently looks like right now.
Absolutely. Yes. No. And this is the great fundamental failing of college sports and the NCAA itself is that when it comes to football, there are the 5 crime families, and then there are 5 other families, and there's nobody in charge and nobody looking out for the best interests of the sport. And quite frankly, if you tried to put a commissioner in charge right now, you think they're going to say yes? You think Greg Sankey wants somebody over him telling him what to do when the SEC can already do whatever it wants? No. So this is the situation they created back in the 1980s when they basically went out on their own to make their own TV contracts and make a ton of money. But that's it, is there's no uniformity. And I don't blame parents. I don't blame players. I don't blame fans for being frustrated by that, by the complete lack of a uniform stance. This is what we should do as a whole in college football, or this is what we shouldn't do. And lacking that, Mark Emmert is probably the most relieved guy out there because he doesn't have to make a call on what the football conferences do. He can sit back and watch them all squirm and come to their own tortured decisions. But we would be much better served, I think, if there was one decision for the entire country.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.